Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hello. Insert my normal intro here, because I don't have anything.
Do you have a normal intro?
My normal intro is to say something like shocking about what month it is, or how many questions we have, or something like that, I think.
Okay, so insert Kyle response 1 through 3. All right.
Yeah, 3 at best.
This BumbleKast is your choose your own adventure version.
Yes.
What did Kyle say here? Whatever your heart desires.
Put it down in the comments below.
Speaking of heart desires, we have so many questions that have come from our heart desiring patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. I'm realizing now it sounds like they all desire hearts, like some kind of monster in the woods.
Delicious.
That was not my intention. I meant that we are fulfilling your desire for answers to the questions you've submitted. You know what? I'm just going to stop now while I'm behind.
Yeah, you should probably stop. But we're not going to stop answering these questions. So let's get started. We're starting with this one from Ace NX. While we already know his copy ability from Rivals is off the table, are there any other restrictions on Metal Sonic's moveset in IDW? Moves like his V Max Overdrive or Plasma Pulse Laser?
I seem to remember the laser out of Sonic the Fighters is a no-no, but I haven't tried to use that in a bit, so I'm not sure.
Oh, you did try to use it, huh?
I feel like that was back in the Archie days, though.
Oh, really? Okay, that's different.
I mean, to be fair, I think it's only ever been used in Sonic the Fighters, so that makes enough sense not to cue that one up again. But I don't have a hard and fast list. It's kind of like, and then Metal Sonic does this, and either it gets a note on it or it doesn't.
Well,
I'm pretty sure he used the V Maximum Overdrive in Amy's 30th anniversary special. I thought that was there.
I don't remember.
I'm going to have to go back and reread it.
You might have to check.
Good thing I still have at least one copy on hand until somebody heads over to the Bumble comic shop and snatches it away, getting it signed.
Well, I mean, you have the script somewhere, maybe. I hope.
Yeah, but that's not a sales pitch. Anyway.
Anyway, Allison S. has a question. My grandma and I just finished season 1 of Suits tonight, and I've forever connected it with Sonic in my head because I was reading a recap of Worlds Collide when we started the show in March. That's a really long recap for Worlds Collide. One character initially makes money by taking the LSATs for people. Anyway, given Fiona's brief time in the Brain Trust, do you think she'd like taking standardized tests for people? Would she be good at it?
Good at it? I don't think she'd like it. Like, sitting still in one place, conforming to somebody else's rules to do a test that, is by design meant to measure your worth as an individual. I think she would hate it out of principle. But she might do it for a few easy mobiums because, she's kind of gaming the system, sticking it to the man.
Yeah.
Letting idiot get their LSAT. So I don't know if she'd want to make it a career, but I could see her maybe doing 1 or 2 times.
Good old mobiums. All Peachy has a question. My birthday is coming up in June, and it has me thinking, what kind of gift givers are the Sonic cast? Who gives the best presents, and who shows up for the cake and tacos?
First off, happy birthday, unless this is after in which case, happy belated birthday.
Happy late birthday, happy early birthday, happy birthday today even, maybe. I don't know. It could be.
Amy's obviously going to give the best gifts. Like, she knows you backwards and forwards, what you like, what you need. She's going to throw you the birthday party you didn't know you wanted. It's great. Sonic will show up with something nice, reasonably thoughtful, probably kind of cheap, bought on the run, but you know what? At least he showed up. Tails kind of overthinks it, maybe gets you something a little odd. You wouldn't really think of that for yourself, but it is kind of neat. You don't dislike it. It's the thought that counts. So yeah, thank you. Cool.
As Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog showed us, Shadow could actually do a really dang good gift.
Oh, he's the ultimate party goer, of course.
He's the ultimate gift giver.
Cream wants a pony, and everyone's like, no, dear, and Shadow rides in on it.
It's true.
Its name is Buttercup. I wanted it to be Sugar Cube. Name control. It's now Sugar Cube.
I like Shadow when he's just like a regular guy.
Knuckles will send you a card for like last year.
If you're lucky.
You spelled your name right, though, so that's something.
Yeah. Where'd he get the card?
He's got a lot of time up on the island.
Did he make it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Punched down the tree, punched it into pulp, pressed the pulp into paper by punching.
All right. You know what? That's pretty good.
Envelope, too. And then just, flings it like a paper airplane off the island.
Knuckles is up there on Angel Island Minecrafting. It's just what he's doing up there. It's just Minecraft.
You got to punch things to survive. That's how you do.
Yeah, pretty much. You punch down the trees. I mean, yeah. Makes sense to me. How would Tangle do?
She shows up late and the present is kind of like taped to her hand, but she got you something at least.
Thought it might be a little damp.
You would not believe what she went through to be here. And don't worry about that thing on her leg. It'll heal. Anyway, happy birthday.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. All right, next question is from Alolan Figment. Seeing how Shadow is basically a darker / edgier counterpart to Sonic, what would an Infinite counterpart be like in the same vein? Would it be even more edgy than Infinite? Is it even possible? Would it loop back around to the complete tonal opposite? We must know, Ian.
It'd be Mephiles.
Me files. I should have known.
Infinite is already like Diet Mephiles. So you want something that's even edgier and better, you get Mephiles.
Mephiles 0.
No cubs, no mercy.
Oh. Like me files the dork. Andrew D has a question. Does the warp topaz account for changes in atmospheric pressure and flows of time? For example, if someone went through a portal from a spaceship and on the other side was an underwater base, what would happen to them? What would happen to the atmosphere with the portal open? We seem to rush through a portal, so what are the limitations? And if time moved at a different pace on one side of the portal and someone kept their arm in it, would their arm age differently? Would the speed of the blood flow change in the arm only? I'm assuming this is a case of don't think about it too hard, but I thought it was interesting to bring up as something to think about.
Do not try to apply hard science to this level of sci-fi. This is more science fantasy, let's be honest.
I mean,
the warp topaz, it make it the portal. You go through the portal. Thank you, warp topaz. You nice Jim.
I mean, we're already having to suspend our disbelief that these characters manage to maintain their physical structure despite the fact they have gigantic heads for their body size. They should be walking around dragging their heads behind them. But here we are.
That's not fun.
I know.
What's fun is Hedgehog go fast.
Yes.
Warp topaz go burr.
Brr. KB has a question. Have the mandates for the IDW comics ever gotten stricter since the series became canon in the games? I'm asking this because I've heard some fans worry about how IDW Sonic being canon could possibly mean that the current comic stories won't be able to be as big and grandiose as the Metal Virus arc and would instead have to play things safe in order to avoid interfering with anything going on in the game's narrative. What are your thoughts on this concern?
Number one, it is a wasted worry because there is literally nothing you can do about it. If Sega tomorrow decided that they were going to lock everything down to the tightest of possible restrictions, you, dear listener, wouldn't be able to do diddly about it. So why worry about it? Enjoy the book for what it is.
I don't know.
Number two.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Number two, the series was always written with the mindset of being canon to the games. It is part of the greater Sonic media landscape. So it's working under the same restrictions as it always has, which is just general licensor oversight. Metal Virus is what it is. It is, if you thought that was as big and grand a scope as you could get, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But, you can't always go to such heights. You can't have world-ending catastrophes every arc. That gets boring. So, do some smaller stuff for a little while and then amp it up again, and then do some gentler stuff and then go crazy again. We're in this for the long haul. Sonic has room for infinite adventures. We can have all kinds, and it'll be fun. It'll be good. And number three, relax. Don't try to analyze. Don't worry so much. Sonic wouldn't be like Sonic. Just enjoy the ride. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, obviously voice your opinion. I'm not saying, consume mindlessly. Just don't worry over stuff, he said, wishing that he followed that advice.
Do as you say, not
4
as you
years
do.
ago.
Yeah. How could you have infinite adventures, though, when infinite is either dead or stuck in the ruby? You knew that was coming.
And yet I could do nothing to stop it. But you know what? I can't control that. So what I need to do is relax and just let it happen.
What do you want
and then
from
eventually
me?
Get a ticket out to Arizona and teach you a lesson.
Okay, fine. Come over here. We can finally record a show in person.
The dreaded live camera BumbleKast.
We don't have to be on camera.
Why waste the opportunity?
It's okay. We don't have to be on camera.
Well, tell you what, you can have that Homestar Runner puppet be your stand-in.
Okay. I suppose. Chaos Sonic 1 has a question. With the Sonic fandom complaining about every unnecessary thing, lacking common sense, not even trying to understand the problem, is there even a point in being in this fandom anymore? Seriously, because of this stupid discourse on Lanolin just being a referee, I'm just losing my mind.
Let's loop back to that statement about relax. Because the Sonic fandom is passionate, and it is multifaceted. And there are areas of it that trend towards negativity, sure, but there are also ones that do not. And if you are in a particular fan circle that you're just not jiving with, move. There are other Discord servers, there are other Tumblrs, there are other places to go where you can find folks that are more on your wavelength and you can enjoy things together. Again, I'm not saying mindlessly consume. There is a place for critique. But if there are folks that just want to critique and not, just enjoy, and maybe not critique with the best of faith in mind, and you don't want to participate in that, you don't have to.
Nope.
And this goes back to like the early days of, I remember back when we had B-scene chat rooms. We had all sorts of like little small fan groups here or there, and they kind of merged and coalesced into larger places like old Sonic HQ and Green Hill Zone and what was the site that Green Gibbon ran? That was Green Hill Zone, wasn't it?
I think so. I know I was on Area 51.
Yeah.
So
and
for a bit.
And those close down, they come up, other platforms arise like Tumblr and Twitter and Blue Sky and Discord and blah, blah, blah. And they will come and they will go. And the point is, if you're in any fan space that is too negative or not giving you the feedback that you want, pull up stakes and go find folks who are more inclined to, enjoy things as you do. And I know that there is some concern about, going to echo chambers and, enjoying things. You know what? Let's not overanalyze this. This is Sonic. It is not meant to shape your world or philosophy. It's media to be consumed and enjoyed. And you can definitely want it to be held to higher standards, but you also don't have to engage with the fandom either. Consume media how you want to consume it, whether it's super in-depth, super critical, or very light fare. It's all legitimate. Just enjoy yourself.
Fandoms are bad. Get out while you still can. That's my advice.
I was born into the fandom, molded by it.
Also, get off Twitter. that will.
I didn't see a wiki entry until I was a man.
Being on Twitter will destroy your brain. Please don't be on Twitter anymore.
I refuse to throw fandom under the bus.
I am mostly joking.
So many of my friends, I know.
I am mostly joking.
There are some bad sides. Just there is good there. I can still feel it. I don't care. Fandom killed all the younglings. They're still good in there.
I'm mostly joking, but not entirely. Oh well. Comic the Hedgehog has a question. Starline gets isekai'd into Neverland. Will he usurp Captain Hook and command the pirate ship? Make the Lost Boys into minions? Swim with the mermaids? Fly with pixie dust? This feels like a one we've already done. Now that I'm looking at it, hold on. I need to check. All right, it's not coming up. So okay, never mind. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, he would definitely try to mine the powers of pixie dust. Think of the happiest things. It's the same as having wings. Think of conquest by surprise. All your enemies will die. As you fly through the sky, you can fly and they die while you fly and they die. Ha ha.
I might just be thinking of a mention of Hook in a recent episode.
That's also possible.
Yeah.
He would try to consolidate it all. You know, he will conquer all the various groups. He will bring order and logic to Neverland. There's a giant carnivorous crocodile out there. You know how this is going to go. But, you know, for a little while, he'll be proactive.
Yeah. Alrighty.
You know what? No, that's not fair. Because every faction would tear him to shreds, depending on who got to him first.
I mean, that also makes sense, too. Cool Christy 1 has a question. When I was a kid having mental health issues, I was always dreaming about Sonic the Hedgehog getting eaten alive at Sonic Drive-In every time someone mentioned Sonic in class at school. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Christy. I'm laughing at the situation. Because when you sent this made me laugh a lot, so... I would always tell that person, hey, please don't eat Sonic. He's a friendly blue hedgehog. I finally went to Sonic Drive-In and he wasn't even there, according to my imagination. What will you do if somebody decides to eat him at Sonic Drive-In? Can this be a horror story in your imagination? Can you imagine a chili cheese coney eating Sonic alive? I don't know why it's so funny to me.
I am disturbed. I will grant you that.
It's just a ridiculous scenario.
I also feel like they did something like this in the early Archie stuff.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, probably somewhere in there.
But I have no real response to that. Thank you for sharing.
And time to reset the counter on how many days it's been since we mentioned eating someone on this show.
Do we really do cannibalism jokes that often?
No. No, but it's enough that we need a counter.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the reassurance. It was eating at me.
It's also the Discord server is where most of the cannibalism discussion happens.
That's unsettling to know.
Or any other sort of consumption memes. Yeah, well, you know. That's what we do. Come join us in the BumbleKast Discord server. We'll only eat you a little bit. DDR Master M has a question. For a Father's Day scenario, Charmy has taken it upon himself to get a gift or a gift card for Vector. Who, if anyone, does he consult for help? What does he get, and how does Vector react to the gift?
Well, he confides in SBO because he thought he could do it on his own, but he has no money and he's not allowed to go to the store by himself anymore. He's learned his lesson, so SBO helped him out, and SBO is very happy and charmed to do so, and he keeps it on the down low because he knows that Charmy is conspiring with Vector to do the same for him. And they get the card and they come back, and Vector's very touched and very moved, and SBO is starting to realize that there's no card for him. There's just one dad here in the Chaotix. Is that it? All right, fine. That's fine. He didn't need one anyway.
Where did he get that money from? That's a real question. Where did he get the money for that?
Look, that wallet fell off a truck. Don't ask questions.
Oh, okay. That should
Maybe
be
it's dishonest, but he's not really reporting to Vector right now anyway. Thank you.
That should be Vector's question because, they got bills to pay. So where's the money? Where are you getting this money from?
You're an investigator. You find out.
Oh, no. And our last question before we take a break comes from Dewdrop. Last month, I asked about Starline being sent back to IDW number 1 to try and change his fate. 2 birds with 1 stone indeed. But maybe the handicap of appearing as a generic duck nermie was too much. It was over so quickly. Humor me with round 2, where future Starline, 1, appears as his regular self, allowing to reveal his predicament contextually, or misdirect friends and foes by pretending to be past Starline, and B is fresh from failure of trying to reason with himself on even ground. I like how it's 1 and B are the 2 options.
Look, Starline's a little frazzled, okay? He can't properly enumerate. And at this rate, I'm imagining it almost like a Daffy Duck sketch. He just kind of comes back and he's staring off in the middle distance. One more time.
Starline and Duck Amok.
This really does need to zoom out to just Sonic at the comic table.
We might have our thumbnail.
I like this scenario more and more. It's Starline, who's finally in the proper position to talk to himself, racing through the city, trying to get to himself to warn him, no, you're going to do it wrong. But manhole covers get opened up underneath him, and buildings are suddenly there, and roads lead into walls, and there's an endless parade of motobugs that he just can't get across. And what's going on here? I never did any of this. And it's just Sonic messing with him from the 4th dimension. That's funny.
That is amazing. All right, yeah,
and of course it ends with present Starline completely out of his gourd, and future Starline running and going, no, we can fix it. Rock. Funny as that is, I feel like that goes completely counter to what Dewdrop was asking for.
It does.
A legitimate attempt.
It does.
So I'm just saying this other way is way funnier. Anyway, it really depends on when Isekai Line, Star Sky? Yeah, whatever. Reconstituted Starline when he shows up in the mix. If he's showing up very early on, right when Starline is getting Mr. Tinker realigned into his Eggman persona, I feel like he's just not going to listen. He hasn't had time to accept that Eggman is flawed. He hasn't grown enough in his character arc, and he's going to reject this other Starline because clearly he doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't care if you're from the future. I don't care if you are afraid of rocks now. That's stupid. I know what I'm doing because I'm Dr. Starline, which is kind of the crux to his character flaw. But
yeah,
if we fast forward to the big finale when he confronts Eggman, that will be a little different because their Starline has had a couple slices of humble pie, and he's sitting there on the throne fully expecting that he's won and everything's falling into place, and his other self runs in all haggard, kind of Doc Brown style. We have to go back. This isn't going to work. And they would lose time because present Starline is like, of course it's going to work. Everything's falling into place. Do you see me standing in front of you? I am telling you, it's going to go wrong. How? We don't have time to. Ooh. And that's about the time Eggman shows up and says, "You're in my seat." And President Starline goes, "That's what you were talking about." "Yes, that's what I was talking about." So they would scramble, maybe try to either co-pilot a mech or each take a mech, overwhelm Eggman, because Starline didn't know what was going on with Surge and Kit and Sonic and Tails at this point. He was busy fighting for his life. So there is that to take into account. And maybe at this point, future Starline allows his past self to just go through the motions. He's going to whittle down the one mech. He's going to use the Tri-Blast. He's going to set himself up for failure, but he is his own backup now. He can jump in. He can maybe try to take advantage of the situation before it gets completely unsalvageable, and Eggman's just going to body him as well. Because he's Eggman. He is the single greatest villain on this planet. You cannot overcome him. And then you've got present-day Starline having lost it because it came to be. He even warned himself, and there was no stopping it. He was such a fool. And Isekai Starline just kind of sitting next to him going, just drop the stupid rock. I'm so tired of this.
Oh, man. We actually kind of feel bad for Starline. Oh, man. Why do you do this, Ian? Why do you make him a sympathetic villain? When he should be just a pathetic villain. He's
not sympathetic. It's just you kind of inherently want to root for the underdog.
I mean, I guess.
You're drawn to the narrative struggle, even if it is the bad duck man.
Yeah.
Or in this case, a duckbill splatipus.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, Ian. All right. With that scenario out of the way, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more BumbleKast. We're back, and we have a question from Domino. If you were tasked with introducing Club Rouge back into the story, whether it be in the comics or games, how would you tackle it?
Doesn't need a lot of fanfare. It's Rouge's club. Maybe that's where she's going after a mission to chill out. Maybe that's where Team Dark needs to fall back to regroup for some particular reason. Maybe
if Team Dark existed anymore, at least, you know
what I mean. Maybe somebody's looking for Rouge. Like, well, she's an international spy and thief. Where can you begin to look? And it's like, try her club. And she's just chilling out at her club, managing things. Enjoying the fact people are just giving her money, So it doesn't need to be anything special. It's just a place.
Money laundering, tax purposes,
exactly.
Tax fraud, whatever. She dabbles in it all. Double L is here with a question. Given Shadow was created in the 50s, has there ever been a discussion about him using 50 slang in his speech? Let him say poppycock, cowards.
I get it now. It's not his speed. He's using that Chaos Emerald to warp. Poppycock. Now, to be super pedantic about it, in the Sonic Adventure 2 cutscenes, and they give the date, it's the year, is it the year 2000X or 20XDX? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Quick research.
Mm-hmm. Now, according to the movies, he would have been created in the 70s, so maybe now he's gone full disco fever.
Oh, it just says day X. Come on.
All this time,
I thought for sure it gave a date.
All this time trying to look it up, and it just says day X. Well, now it can be any day you want.
Yeah, and the opening cutscene just gives an hour. Frig, I could have sworn it said. All right, well, that's a bunch of dead air to cut out. We don't know what year it is in Sonic's Earth. If it's the year 2000, sure, 50 years ago it's 1950s. But what if it's the year 2050 there? 50 years ago is the 2000s. That makes Shadow a weird millennial. Like, what?
We also don't know how long a year is on Sonic's Earth.
That's another factor.
That's a different thing.
So depending on where we are in this sliding time scale, it makes just as much sense for Shadow to say, something's totally bogus to the max.
That's just surfer slang. That's just Surfer Shadow again. And we got a question from Energy. Since the Final Horizon has been out for some time, I've been meaning to ask, which ending is exactly canon? Is it the main one, the DLC one, or are both universally canon? Like a mix of both being about the actual ending.
It's the one where the end gets blown up and Sage is still around by the very end.
Which ending is canon? Yes. Flora Latour has a question. In Mobius 25 years later, we see that King Shadow has established a religion around Maria. I struggle to see how building a religion around his dead friend helps him out in the slightest. If anything, I would think Maria would be a sore spot for him. Even stranger is that Sonic seems to follow this religion. Why does Shadow make the Church of Maria, and why does Sonic evoke her name while mourning his children?
I don't think we had a ton of thought on this because we didn't have time to explore it. It's been a long time, but I think the rationale at the time was that Shadow, who had gone so clearly beyond his proper and normal characterization, had elevated Maria in his mind beyond normal. Like, she's a driving factor in Shadow's life normally, an inspiration of sorts. But in Mobius 25 years later, since the marching orders were make him a villain, it's like, all right, go whole hog with this. And the remembrance became obsession, that she was so perfect and so important to this version of Shadow that he would instill it in all others. Maria was the one good thing in life. You all will acknowledge that she was, and that he elevated her, deified her, and you would worship her because that's what you're supposed to do, because that's what King Shadow says. Nar, nar, nar. And in Sonic's case, I imagine it's just kind of something he picked up. Like, it became so common a thought and expression that he used it, and no more devout than evoking the name of a apostle or a saint or something. You lost your keys and you pray to Saint Anthony type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Well, let's move on to this next question here from Gideon W. Random curiosity. Big is bigger, but sedentary. Eggman, however, must do a lot of exercise to pull off his physical feats, but still manages to be egg-shaped. That takes a lot of calories. Which do the local all-you-can-eat restaurants fear the most?
Well, you heard Red Lobster's going out of business, right?
Yeah.
Alternative punchline. He actually really loved the place, but he had no hand in it. So he's just sitting there fuming and going, I hate that hedge fund.
I don't think Red Lobster is technically going out of business completely, but...
No, but that's the funny ha-ha joke.
Yeah, but most of the locations are not good. Not in a good place. Oh, well.
Let's just say that, he has a schedule of going through the various buffet places until they're all gone, and then he just, cleans out a Costco and has his robots cook until the other places are ready again.
Let them cook.
Man, now I have a hankering for Ryan's yeast rolls like you wouldn't believe.
All right. Question from Happy Times. It's common in platformers like Sonic to not include falling damage as a game mechanic, but characters have survived high falls in cutscenes too. Sonic's fallen from the egg carrier and landed on his face twice, and even Eggman dropped from Lost Hex to the ground and only wound up a bit dirty. Seems like only falling from orbit has any risk, and Sonic and Shadow still keep doing it and avoid death anyway. So does falling damage not exist in story as well, or at least is extremely muted?
Option A, see my previous answer revolving around the Warp Topaz, or B, everyone is incredibly dense.
Well, I mean...
Or spongy. Maybe they're all just made out of foam rubber when you get down to it.
I was going to say dense. I'm like, yeah, Sonic's pretty dense sometimes. And we got one from JCR1216. Pick a favorite mod. The BumbleKast gets to be DLC in Team Sonic Racing. It's Ian and Kyle, and Sega wants you to include one of your mods. Which one are you choosing?
Oh, I can't play favorites, so they all get crammed into one clown car scenario.
I was going to say, I mean, we had that one car with 3 Chow in it. Why can't we stuff 3 Zeddy-esque creatures. Or not 3. I guess 5 or 6 Zeddy-esque creatures into one vehicle.
Does Rye count as a Zeddy-esque creature?
If you squint. But yes.
Or maybe we keep all the Zeddy-like creatures as the drivers and we just make the car Rye. The Professor Ryder, if you will.
The Rye-mobile.
Yes. The Rye or die. And you can customize it to decide who's actually driving and who everybody else is just having a party in the back.
There you go.
You pick up an item and they're all squabbling in the back trying to hold on to it until you actually activate it, and then they throw it and laugh at whoever got hit.
Yeah, it's double dash. It's double dash, but insane version. Oh man. Yes.
Kyle's special is he gets a nitro game injection, which is just a perpetual boost, and he's got the best handling because he actually knows how to race.
Okay.
And my special is the knowing smile, where every other racer has a big obnoxious PNG of my face covering the screen so you can't see where you're going.
There you go.
I know where you're going, but you don't.
It's basically just a blooper, but this is TSR, not Mario Kart, so.
You're right. I'm thinking the All-Star Racing, they have the specials.
Did TSR have specials too? I thought they did. I thought they had all the All-Star sort of things. I can't remember.
The character-specific ones. I think they only had like the team boosts.
Did they? Well. Oh, well. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I will take it all. Kaz has a question. Are the cyberspace stages in Sonic Frontiers the precursor to the special stages we see in Sonic CD and Sonic Mania? Considering that these special stages seem to take place in a digital environment and on different planets, cities, and islands, could they be memories of the many locations the ancients visited throughout the universe while trying to escape from the end?
Nice attempt to connect the dots, but the special stages are not lore specific. They're just gameplay.
They're special. It's in the name. Major Bunny has a question. Well, it's happened. Kids' admiration of magical girl shows has reached an all-time high. So it's time for the next step, and for him to go to his first ever anime convention. How does it go, and does he see anyone else he knows there?
For him, it's great. It is a transcendent experience. He's so happy. It's such a grand time. He's a little awkward around Amy and Cream because, mortal enemies, kind of, sort of, but they're very encouraging of his cosplay, so he can warm up a little bit. He's kind of giving Tails the death glare from across the way. You stay over in your mecha fantasy section, boy. But otherwise, grand time, which is especially surprising since Surge is his chaperone, and she only agreed to go so she could bully all the nerds.
I was going to say, she said, look at all the nerds to beat up and bully.
Like, they show up, and she's just looking at this entire convention floor going, easy pickings. And looks down at Kit, realizes he's just starry-eyed, like, he's arrived. And she's like, all right, you go have fun. I'll catch up with you later. Every few minutes, looks down the aisles, make sure that he's not within range, and then just resumes her pandemonium.
Kit is like, wow. I can totally see that. Does Kit go as a cosplay? Does he cosplay anybody?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know who. Maybe he goes as a magical girl himself, but he definitely cosplays. He's going to go in for it. Like, if he gathers the resolve to go into a public space to engage with people on purpose, he's going to go whole hog.
I'm being told he cosplays as Surge, which is weird, but all right. Sounds adorable, but also weird.
She doesn't quite get it at first until he explains, well, technically, she's a girl who did transform and gain powers. She is a magical girl in a way.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't add up for me, but whatever, Drippy.
And we got one last question. It's from Mephiles #1 fan. The cast discovers a brand new aspect to Shadow's biology that the Black Arm's DNA provided. He is actually both genders at once, and the way they discover this is finding out he's been dating an alternate version of himself that's exactly the same in every single way, except she calls herself a girl. How do the cast react to this brand new information?
Amy's like, isn't that a little conceited? And the shadows are like, why? We're the ultimate partners.
Yeah, of course. They are a bit conceited.
Sonic's over there going, now, okay, hold on. They did an entire BumbleKast of me hooking up with Shadow, but it wasn't in this context. But there's two of them, so it could still work. He's just like trying to do the math on this. Where am I on? How do I fit in the Kinsey scale here? I don't know. Somebody buy another mini or a guest episode so we can figure this out.
There's two of them. I'm confused. I don't know if this is exactly how gender works, but is this just a Loki and
I'm taking it.
Loki thing? In a way, I guess. Although it's just two Lokis, two identical Lokis.
You can get more mileage out of is it an android thing again?
Yeah.
Until they confront Eggman, he's like, gender? Why would I bother with gender? What are you talking about?
Gender? My gender is to take over this world.
Wait, Shadow has a gender?
Gender? I barely know her. And that's all the questions we have. But we do have a message from an anonymous Sonic fan. Do you want to read this, Ian, or should I?
Hi. Reading things is your shtick.
Fine. Only out of necessity, to be fair.
Then they're an anonymous Sonic fan. Let's open this from a safe distance.
I think it's okay. A message I want to send to all of the many Sonic writers and artists involved with the community. I deeply commend and respect each and every one of you for the hard work you do for the Sonic series, as well as your willingness to interact with our very vocal community. You all have such a passionate love to be as connected to the series as possible, and call me a fanboy, but I find that highly admirable. It is because of you guys that make this community so fun and inspiring.
Well, thank you very much on behalf of myself and everyone else who has contributed and continues to contribute to the various forms of Sonic media. And thank you also for proving my point. Fandom can be good.
Okay, fine.
There are positive, accepting, appreciative people out there.
You just have to look for them. And they're really hard to find.
No, this one came right to us.
Well, okay, this one came to us, but you know. Now our Discord server is great. If you want to come hang out with some cool Sonic fans, come into our Discord server.
And you can do that by joining them as a patron over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or being a YouTube member.
Yes, and they only bite a little bit. So
back to the Bumble cannibalism.
Yeah, you know, here we go.
That's gonna no, we're done. We're ending on a high note. Damn it! Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Keep your teeth to yourselves, and we'll see you next time on the BumbleKast.
At least ask for consent first.
Woohoo!
If you're gonna bite somebody, make sure that you have permission.
It's BumbleKast After Dark.
After dark. Trying to
get on with our evening.
Get on with our lives that we don't have. Get on with our lives that we don't have. Are you there?
I'm there.
Okay, you went real quiet. I thought you were going to say something. You had nothing, huh?
I got nothing.
Okay. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. The freaking Starline is Duck Amok. That scenario is hilarious. I don't know if it would be funnier if Starline were choking Starline while Eggman walks in. Starline is strangling Starline for being an idiot, and Eggman shows up. I don't know if that's funnier or if the going full Duck Amok with Sonic as the artist is is funnier. I think either one. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what happens.